listening to the Millennial's Choice Show, Canada's most trusted podcast on all things real estate, finance, and entrepreneurship. Here's your host, Matthew Ablacan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of this interview. We had to chop it up because we were chopping it up with Jason Diaz, and it went. Is that good?
Look at that.
That was really good. Am I back in
You're
the
back in it, baby.
All right. Okay.
This is off the top, just so everyone knows.
This is off the dome. All right. This is part 2 of our interview. Let's get right into it. I was always wondering, we talk about it off air when we get together almost every day as best friends. This guy. Andrew Tate. What are your thoughts on him? I know he's all for alphas and all that stuff. And
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really have an opinion on Andrew. I don't know much of his content. Like I don't really listen to much of anything. You know. I know whatever makes it into the mainstream. But I don't know enough about him to have an opinion.
He's so mainstream that mainstream had to kick him out. That's how mainstream he was.
Yeah. But it's also like the little bit that I've heard about him. Like he seems to just say some silliness, and I mean not that all of it is without merit. Like I think he says some things that you know what the problem is with him. I think from the little that I've seen, he makes some points that are decent in theory, but the way he communicates his points, I think, is horrendous.
The way he goes about it.
Do you think it's horrendous, or you think it just triggers people on purpose? Like that's his plan?
Well, it could be purposeful, for sure. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's the same problem with the other guy that you're not allowed to mention.
Who? Trump?
Orange Man. Yeah. He just he's divisive in the way he speaks.
That's politics, though. That's politics.
But he's on like steroids with it for sure.
Yeah.
Trump for president, no, Jay?
Oh my goodness! Don't you even dare. But I feel like the same thing is with Andrew Tate. I think he says a lot of stupid shit, and then even within the shit he's saying, whenever you do have a good little nugget of something, he just ends up articulating it in a way that is repulsive to a lot of people.
Yeah, he said something that was interesting. He said most people will take like a short clip of what I say
for sure
in a much longer interview where there's so much context missing that it comes off that way. But I think that's also his plan to go viral, to get people triggered, and
for sure.
And there's
100%.
obviously an audience for it, because otherwise he wouldn't get the support that he gets, right?
100%. But here's my issue. Here's an issue that I have with like just the way people promote things today. I find it very rare to see somebody trying to lift something up without putting something else down.
Yeah.
Right. So you can't, in Andrew Tate's case, you can't promote masculinity without degrading women. And it's the same thing in the reverse. You can't be a feminist without shitting on men.
But I think that's just how it is, though, right? Because everybody has their own views, right, and beliefs and biases, right, towards a topic, which just naturally, just by it being what it is, will separate people, right? Because you have different ways of looking at things, right? I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, right? But I feel like a lot of people do think that is a bad thing if they don't agree with it, right? But if they do agree with something else, then they're okay for it. You know what I mean? That's the thing I don't like, the hypocrisy of it, where if it's not something that kind of jives with them, they kind of see it as, they're tearing this other thing down. You know what I mean?
100%. I think hypocrisy is a big one for me right now. I think it's so widespread.
Yeah.
And it's so like people seem oblivious to it. Even the people engaging in it. Like there's dots that aren't connecting, right? It's like
we're divided as a North America is divided right now more than it's ever been. There's so much polarization of things that it's either this side or this. You have to choose a side. Even people who don't want to choose a side have to choose a side now. And so you're getting people who normally, if you disagree with somebody, it's like, okay, we could agree to disagree, but still be friends and cordial and have a conversation. But we can't do that now. And that's I think part of Andrew's message, right? Like a lot of the toxic feminism that does exist out there degrades men, and that's just they're debunked so easily. We're talking about the toxic stuff. The good stuff for feminism, equality, they should be treated fairly. If they're working the same job as a man, they should get paid the same. Of course, 100%. Who wouldn't be for that? But then you talk about what Andrew is saying. And so he's not attacking women like that. He's said this multiple times. He loves women. They should be protected, all this good stuff. But the way he says it triggers, in my opinion, the toxic people. The people that don't want to hear that. The people that say, no, a man should not be this way. But it's like, well, he makes good points. If somebody breaks into the house in the middle of the night, I'm the man. You're going to expect me to go and defend our household. That's a valid point. What else does he say? If who built the roads? How many? What's the ratio between men and women that go to prison? It's mostly men that are in jails. Who built the roads? Who built your house? Who built these kinds of things? Who goes to war? He's like, where are all the hardcore feminists? Are they going to Ukraine right now? Are they going to Russia? So he makes some valid points that we can sit back and say, yeah, that's not what, feminism should be about, or whatever it's called on the male side of things. But we should acknowledge that, hey, both parties are created equal. Both parties have roles and duties in society, and we should welcome those roles. I think the ability of a woman to produce, to procreate, is such a beautiful thing. It's a miracle. We can't do that. They could argue and say we can. We can't do that. Biologically, we cannot do that. It's a female thing. So that's my take on it. 100%. Like going back, I'm about to get canceled because of you guys.
110%.
Yeah, you're definitely getting canceled and removed off all platforms. But
no problem.
Did you guys hear about what happened with that guy that ended up defending himself, in my opinion, shooting those intruders
in Milton?
Yeah.
What happened? He got charged with murder. No,
he got charged with, I can't remember the degree. I think it was second degree. I can't remember. Do you know,
dude? Jay? I do know about this one. I don't know, again, too many details about it because I just stay away because I get irritated with this stuff. But
dude, come on.
I don't understand the controversy. I don't understand people who think this is a controversy.
Well, it's in our criminal code.
You had an armed intruder in your home where your family is sleeping.
That's it.
What do you mean? But I just, as a Canadian living in Canada, I would like to know what exactly are the steps that I'm supposed to take.
You're not supposed to do anything.
Am I supposed to?
You're supposed to let your family get raped.
My thing is, like, am I supposed to sit the person down and be like, "Hi, so I just got a couple questions. Do you have any malintent?" I know this is a silly question because you've broken into my home armed in the middle of the night. But anyway, hey, do you mean to cause me or my family harm?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Okay. Also, I appear to not be able to defend myself unless you shoot me first. So can you go ahead and do that so then I can hopefully not die and then protect my family? If you do kill me, then I guess, hey, best of luck to my family. Yeah. But what are the laws in this country in terms of being able, if you cannot defend yourself against an armed intruder?
What's the point of private property? What's the point of?
But it does not make sense at all.
But it's also just none of that. But it's all, like, for me, it's just, what do you, like, I don't understand the concept. Like, what am I supposed to do? Call the police? You're not getting here in time.
At all.
Guys, somebody drove a freaking vehicle through Vaughan Mills Mall. The police station, being in Vaughan for 23 years, the police station is literally
5 minutes away.
No, it's not 5 minutes away. It's a minute and 15 seconds away. And this guy drove to his desired store, right?
I saw that. That was
took
crazy
stuff out of the
video.
store,
crazy.
And then left from another exit. And you're telling me the security didn't know about it or whatever? You're telling me that Vaughan Mills doesn't have an alarm system like that caught that? I mean, I don't know. Like,
but like the thing, like with that, so a shop loses
who cares
some clothing. Exactly.
No, but
like,
fine. But my point being is that
the response time.
The response time for that should probably be a lot bigger because it's now a public security issue versus somebody that's happening to in their own private home. The response time might be a little bit longer.
You think it should be longer?
No, I don't think it should be longer. I'm saying it would probably be longer in an ideal world. Yeah. Just even from your distance from the police station to, let's say, our house or whatever.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Like, I just don't get it. And then now we're not allowed to defend our family. We have to choose between. Like, I don't get it. Why is there even a choice?
But that's what I'm saying. Like what? Again, this is not even a complacent thing. I would just like to know what steps we are expected to take here, because obviously you cannot do what he did, which is shoot the guy first,
Because you're going to get taken to court.
because you're going to get arrested.
So he killed the guy, obviously.
Did the guy,
One died.
the intruder die?
And then the other guy...
There was multiple
There was
intruders.
multiple. There's two.
Yeah, I didn't
think.
look into it too deeply. I
There
just saw
was-
that headline.
I think there was two. There was one that died on scene, and then the other guy got arrested.
Oh. Well,
But-
I think the homeowner should have like made coffee,
Dude, that
put
doesn't
out
make
some
sense.
cookies,
Come on, guys.
and then
Like,
asked
let's-
him, "Hey, could you actually?
bullshit.
Hi, could you please leave because my family's actually sleeping and
honestly,
you're causing a ruckus."
guys, I don't care what were to happen. If that ever happened in my own house and I did have a firearm, let's say, and I wanted to protect my family, dude, I would absolutely do it in a heartbeat. Wouldn't give it a second thought. And if I had to go to jail for that, man, I would go to jail for that.
I would try to shoot them in the leg, in the knee or something.
Yeah, but you can't, like, you're not going to think about doing that when someone's trying to come kill you, bro. Just taking the adrenaline that's going to be pumping through, and you're not going to be thinking, oh, I'm going to shoot to hurt this person. Police don't even do that. The police are not trained to shoot in the leg. When they're going to discharge their firearm, they have to discharge to kill. They don't shoot to wound.
Well, I'm not a cop.
No, but that's what I'm saying, though. If the police have that right to shoot back at somebody, let's say, that is a
should have
threat,
that right too.
why can't we have the right? I don't understand.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. If someone could explain it to me and make sense of it, I would love that. But guys, I don't think there is a rational
But like,
explanation.
let me also be very clear. Like, I understand 100% these people that aren't into firearms and don't like these laws. Cool, fine. But this
Yeah.
is an in your own home
This isn't a firearm issue.
Situation.
This isn't a firearm issue to me.
It's a safety.
100%. I don't think.
It's in my opinion, the way the law should be with your home is the way it is in some states. The moment you step foot on my property, I have a right to do to you whatever
Stand your ground,
I
man.
want to do. Because if you're trespassing and you're now a threat, I can perceive you as a threat. I have the right to defend myself.
I think
seen-
another thing
yeah.
that people underestimate or don't put enough thought into when it comes to these kind of situations, these home invasion situations. Dude, have you ever been woken up out of a deep sleep?
100%.
I don't know what day of the week it is.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're going to get up, get your firearm. Go
That's
do
what I'm saying.
Like,
I don't know
I
what,
know.
if you wake me up out of a deep sleep, I don't know what day it is.
Yeah.
But yet you want me to be alert enough to like assess this situation super, like, dude,
Yeah, it's wrong.
You're
You're not doing none
in
of that.
someone's home in the middle of the night, armed.
What do you think they're gonna do? Like,
That's
come on,
the,
you're
guys.
not
that's the
there to tuck
definition
me
of the
in,
law.
like-
That's the definition of the law causing us to break the law. That's one of those situations where when we infringe on the law, it's the law itself that's infringing on our rights.
Yeah.
I
And
think
it's
it-
causing us to break it.
I think it also creates a really unfortunate and unfair mental space for the homeowners. Which again, assuming you have a family that lives in that house, like if I am if I am living in that house and I have to get awoken in the middle of the night to go deal with this thing, now all of a sudden I'm second guessing. This is literally a life and death situation, and I'm second guessing my actions because
If you're allowed to do it, or if you
am I
should.
allowed to protect myself in this situation? I don't like
Doesn't make sense.
the position it puts. I feel like the law is designed to protect the criminal and the intruder versus the homeowner and the family. that is
Which
trying-
doesn't
it.
make sense, guys. I saw a video the other day. It was on Instagram, and I think this guy was in Texas or something. And 4 people were trying to break into this person's house, and
He shot him.
the lady, the lady that was fronting to be like some homeless person that needed help or something. It was all on camera. It was like 3 a.m. It was really late, and she was knocking on his door, and he saw through the camera the 4 guys or girls, we don't know, they're all covered in black, hiding behind the car, like ready for them to like break in as soon as he opens the door for this person, because that's what they do to trick people to letting them in. And right away, this guy, without hesitation, pulls out a 12 gauge shotgun and points it at her and says, but through the door though, he didn't open the door. And he said, I have a gun aimed at you right now. If you guys all don't get off my property right now, I'm shooting you all. And dude, they ran, and he ended up, I think, shooting a shot off. And they ran, they bolted. You see the 4 people running and the lady running. And I'm like, that's what you need. That's what you need to defend yourself. Because what would those people do? Dude, there's like 5 people. They're going to kill your family.
Yeah, it's desperate times for a lot of people, man. But
It's messed up.
It's
very messed up.
And I will say, like, we are so different from the States, right? Like Canada is so different from America. And like, again, I'm not well versed in the American laws, and I mean, to be honest, I'm not even well versed in the Canadian laws, but I do know. But I think that is an issue. This specific case highlights the issue where it's like, I understand. I'm not advocating for shooting people.
No.
You know, like, by any means.
Self-defense.
But what I am saying is the homeowner or the victim should not be in a position where they're made to second guess their actions in what is potentially a life and death situation. Because I love these people that are always like, oh, well, do you see how that played out? That person just left. I was like,
you don't know what's gonna always
Monday morning quarterback. Yeah, sure. That's fine. But like, you know, it's like, okay, that's fine. That example ended fine with nobody getting shot and the person just left. But how many do not? And like, are you going to take the risk with your kids and your wife at home or whatever is at home?
We have a good system here, like, especially with people who want to get a firearm. It's not easy. It's super difficult because you have to go through the RCMP and go through so many different channels. Why are you making that face?
Because I just want to say very quickly, I think this is a huge misconception. And I think the gun laws in Canada versus the States. Oh no, they are not.
No. That's what I was.
They
getting
are
to.
not comparable. And the thing is, I think because a lot of times Canada has knee-jerk reactions to things that happen in the States, especially when it comes to gun violence. Canadians blend the two, and it's like, oh, this is the same thing. It's not
very different.
It's not the same thing.
It's very difficult to get a firearm in Canada, and it's very difficult to keep that firearm in Canada unless things are done by the book. It's very different.
Number one, you can't walk into a Walmart or whatever and just buy one that same day and you're just 18 years old.
Yeah, dude.
It doesn't work that way.
With all the love and respect in the world for my Americans,
they got that one wrong.
It confuses me.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the Second Amendment, sure, but like,
there should be some more due diligence done. No, 100%.
Put some restrictions on it like we have. If you could put some restrictions on it like we have. Now they have other things like conceal and carry and whatever. But here's the thing. I've spoken to a lot of people there and they feel safer because it deters criminals. Because criminals think, man, this person might have a gun on them. And if I do something, I'm risking my life and they're allowed to use it. It deters criminals. So I think we have a better system in terms of how the government gauges who's buying a firearm, how to get it. You have to take a course. You have to go through RCMP. There's background checks, takes weeks, all this whole process. And then you're restricted as to what you could buy, which I think is good. There should be some restrictions in place. But then like more than that, then what's the point of even allowing your citizens to buy the guns if you're not enabling them to use them? Like, what's the point of, they can't defend themselves with it. They could go to a shooting range and potentially use it. Now you can't even do that with everything. And what's the point of having it? And I think that's where they're leading to. Yeah. They want to get rid of it completely, which I think is wrong.
In terms of devil's advocate here, I think hunting is where they're trying to go. It's like, you can have hunting firearms, you can go hunt, but anything other than that, I think they're trying to get rid of, which again, like, that's not my thing anyway. So, but yeah, the self-defense laws in Canada need to be looked at.
They don't make sense at all. But going back, like, to what you're saying about the States, guys, I've seen videos of, I don't know, some guy was like, for some reason breaking into like an elderly home. I don't know why. He was like in an elderly home and he started shooting people.
It's probably like, the aqua fitness classes.
Yeah. That was pissing him off. And
I also didn't hear the end of that story. It ended with shooting people, so I made a very inappropriate joke.
No, it's all good. And this guy, for some reason started like shooting up the place. And guys, one of the like residents there was an older gentleman and had a gun. He was strapped. And guess what? He started shooting back at the guy and he shot the guy. And I was happy to see that.
Lives.
I'm like, damn, this guy actually saved people's lives because this other person
I think teachers should have the opportunity to have access to a firearm in case an intruder comes into the school. 100%.
If they want to, well, why not?
I think teachers should have it.
I think one of the, again, this is from afar. I'm not American. I don't know what the day-to-day is like over there, but I just think the access, not so much even to the person that buys the gun, but like the at-home storage is because in Canada there's storage laws, right? Like you have to have it in your safe. It has to be separate from the ammunition. That's like,
which makes sense.
you know what I'm saying?
There's a trigger lock. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and I just feel like again, from what I hear, and I could be very wrong, and if I am, I apologize, but that doesn't exist in the States, right? So you can hide your gun under your pillow where your kid can go find it, and then all of a sudden your 12-year-old has a gun now.
And that's happened so many times.
And that is, and like that's a problem
so
that I
many
don't
times.
think you can just be like, no, that doesn't exist. It
happens a
absolutely
lot.
does exist.
Yeah.
That's how these kids that go into these schools and do these horrific shootings, that's how you get these guns.
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
And it's like, it's too easy. I think it's too blasé guns in the States, I think. But
it has to be, I think, a medium between what we have right now and what the States have. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think there's a happy medium in between of how to do
the problem
proper,
with the States when you talk about, because you can talk about policy all you want, but actually making policy changes, it's so tough because it's a right in the States. You know, it's a Second Amendment. It's your right to carry.
Yeah.
That's why it's so tricky, because like they, like right out the gate, they put that wording in there. Now that's such a hard thing to overturn.
I know it's fantastic that these guys have, you know, the Constitution and we have the Charter, but it seems like our charter rights are not being infringed on every day.
Yeah. Well, look what happened with the truckers, right?
But did you guys hear recently about how our GTAA, the something airport association, is limiting flights during March break and during our summer season coming up?
No, I didn't hear about
Limiting
flights out of Pearson.
just in general, like arrival, departure, doesn't matter.
Just limiting the amount of rights.
that. But why?
Well, because
Traffic.
because the airport has been a nightmare since COVID.
Here's the thing, though.
Pearson.
Here's the thing, though. We've traveled, and you know, if you're not sticking with one particular company that rhymes with "run thing," Sunday.
That wasn't even close.
I was trying to
That was a brain
butchered
exercise.
it.
I was like, run thing.
Come on, it was good. Fun thing.
But
Wow, you're killing. Keep going.
One more.
One
Point is, we traveled in January and the airport was fine, but one particular airline had a lineup that was just going all around the airport, and that was really bad. Sarah's parents actually today were supposed to come back. Their flight just got delayed while they were at the airport.
Damn.
They said go back to the resort. They're like, tomorrow we'll get you another flight.
Dude, this is my thing. When has traveling ever been this bad? Now I understand we just went through COVID. Cool. But like these issues don't seem to be COVID related.
They fired all the persons who decided that it was in their
Is that what it was? Like, are they just short staffed?
Not to take something. I think they're short staffed. When did this happen?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, I've never heard of so many flight cancellations.
it depends on the airline, though. That's why. It depends
No,
on the
I
airline.
understand. But like historically, dude, you don't see this many cancellations, this many like.
What's it
and
called?
also,
The GTAA.
I just don't understand like the easiness with which we're like, oh well, you know, you got delayed, stay an extra day or two. Hey man, dude, that's not how this works.
That's annoying.
People have
The
booked off work.
Greater Toronto Airport.
Like, I got to get back to work on Monday.
real.
What do you mean stick around another 2
and
days?
it's easier said than done to be in an airport for 24 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's-
the
it's
Greater
annoying.
Toronto Airports Authority, they have limited
never heard
flights
of
during
that in
peak
my
hours
life.
ahead of March break and summer travel season to limit flights.
But you know what that's going to do, right? It's just going to increase the prices of flights.
And it's a hard limit on the number of flights allowed to.
See?
They said it's a hard limit.
So flights are going to be more expensive now, just like everything else. If you want to travel, it's going to be even bigger luxury than it was before, right? And all these guys are just going to get away with it and make even more money, right?
Yeah, I find there's very little, if any, accountability for these airlines, huh? Like,
How are they going to? How is the government going to hold them accountable, man? Like, there's only so much the government can do, right?
Well, I think it's the opposite. I think it's the government just saying, you're going to do this. Oh, we're going to lose billions. We're going to lose this. Don't worry. We'll pay you. I bet you there's handouts going all around. 100%.
Yeah, I think so too.
100%. Because Pearson's one of the biggest international airports around the world. You're limiting flights. What message are you sending to people around the world, to the international community? Foreign buyers are banned in Canada. Flights are limited. There's this, truckers protest that happened. You're sending a message of instability. Meanwhile, I feel like there's these, all of us have been living our lives as normal as possible. And I don't know. I feel like there's this wrong image being projected of Canadians around the world,
Yeah, definitely.
in my opinion.
yeah, I hear there's like a big mass exodus of Canadians. You hear like we're all fleeing into the States.
I heard the opposite. I heard
700,000 people.
I heard people were leaving the States
to come to Canada.
And then they left again because
I'm gonna be honest. I've heard that as well.
Yeah.
And the second part of that doesn't surprise me at all. It's
That-
full of
that-
shit
yeah,
over here.
it's
That happened. That happened. They said when Trump became president, a lot of them left to come here.
I was talking about recently, like I heard.
I don't know about recently, but it's a mess what's going on in North America right now. And I think we live in the best country in the world, in my opinion.
It's certainly up there. It is certainly up there. Like, yeah, I'm gonna leave that.
Matt for prime minister.
Not at all. No chance.
Are you kidding me? Did you hear half this interview? This guy's not gonna get through one interview.
No chance. No, but what do you guys think of Chris Guy for Toronto mayor?
Yeah, I saw that. Is he serious about that?
I don't know. I think he is.
Yeah. I don't know. I know Chris. We could call Chris right now.
You guys best friends?
I wouldn't say like Jason and I,
Okay,
but
good.
like
I was
on that
gonna-
level.
I was gonna say, be careful.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think he's just like whatever he's doing is he's doing like he's doing well at that. Like he's raising awareness for things. I just don't know if that translates into public office.
What were you guys? What you guys think about what happened with Mayor Tory?
Is anyone ever surprised
Like,
when a politician gets caught for a scandal? I don't understand.
At the end of the day, he
too easy.
he was a great mayor, and he was a great mayor. I was looking at something Carson just showed me. He was a great mayor, but at the same time, like, have we not seen way more serious offenses done at higher levels of office recently? That person is still in power. Like, and we're allowing it. Like, the guy had an affair. Okay, that's a private matter, bro. Like, it's a private matter, and
The
deal with
things
it.
they
there's
choose to
definitely-
act on in politics, like the things that are like, oh, we have to resign for this,
That's
versus what they
why-
don't. It's like, what?
That's
I'm
why I
really-
feel like
he
there
happens
is
to be
more-
a conservative mayor.
But that, I think that goes both ways. Like, there's so many things that happen that are just ignored.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
And then they're
really?
like, oh, this. And don't get me wrong, definitely don't gotta have an affair. But like, I don't see what that has to do with the job. I mean, granted, I believe
something happened. They came up to him, get in front of this, or we're gonna leak it.
I mean,
And
it
you're
was
gonna
in
be
office too.
100%.
So
And
that's-
you're gonna be forced to leave anyway. Do it on your own terms.
100%.
You know,
I mean, but again, in fairness, it's not just a regular affair. It's an in-office affair as well, right? So it gets a little trickier.
Double slap on the wrist there.
You know?
yeah.
Now you got to resign as mayor.
Do you see the picture that they posted of him? They're like, this happened during COVID. This was what he looked like, and his hair was so long.
His blowers blowing in the wind. Yeah, they just
They're
make
like,
people
who's
so
this,
dirty.
who's
whenever
this
they-
chick who did that?
I saw
I
this.
have seen that. That hair is just everywhere.
I saw so many posts of people just like people's comments saying like, wow, Toronto man's out here just trying to like get girls, and Mayor Tory's just like out here looking like this.
I didn't see that.
I saw those hilarious.
But you know, on a serious note, like, you know, we've had conversations with the mayor of Vaughan. Like, he stepped down voluntarily. No one could touch him in Vaughan as mayor, and he stepped down in October, like 2022. Like, what's this? This is all kind of happening at once. Is there
going on?
Is there some sort of connection, or no?
Oh, you don't know why he stepped down? I didn't even hear that he stepped down.
No, that he resigned officially because he felt his time was up. He served Vaughan.
Yeah.
He did a great job, phenomenal job.
I think he served public office. They're saying like 30 years. Total.
Yeah, he's, you know,
That's a long time.
maybe he wants to do something else, right, with his time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that stuff, public matter, like private matter, you know, like similar to the whole, without giving specific, Dana White, his wife, like that should not infringe on his ability to run a company or run a city. Like,
What do you mean? He was trying to see if he could be a contestant on his own.
wow.
This guy.
Wow. No,
Sorry, I had to.
Coincidence that the
Coincidence?
league was starting up the next day? No,
I think not.
the Dana White situation's unfortunate, man, because,
Yeah.
you know, don't do that.
yeah, no,
Don't
for
do
sure.
that, bro. You know, and then but my problem with Dana White, and this is like a long essay kind of problem, but like, dude, you can't, again, the hypocrisy. You can't come out and be like, oh, if my fighters smack women, that's it, they're done.
I think that was the biggest problem.
And then
with
he's
what
like,
happened.
oh, I smacked one. Yeah, you know what? It's really not that big of a deal because I'm Dana White and the UFC needs me. So moving on.
But his wife did slap him first. Does that change anything? What do you think?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think you should be smacking your wife.
No.
But especially, like, just period.
Yeah.
I was going to say, especially in public, it doesn't make a difference.
But I feel like they made a big deal out of it just because it's who he is.
It's who he is.
You know what I
A
mean?
big deal out of what? Sorry.
Of what happened, right? Because
Yeah, but I mean, that's the other side that comes with being in the public eye. It's not just you broke box office records. It's also,
Well, this is what pisses me off. The only thing that pisses me off just about these situations in general is like it's so one-sided. Oh, Dana White did this. It's like, okay, fine. But the conversation should be about, if couples are going through something, getting them the help they need, because clearly she was angry and she assaulted him first. And they're a couple, like they're a married couple. They have kids, whatever. Let them deal with it. But if they need help, they need help. Like that's normal. They need someone to talk to. They could confide in, trust in. They're public figures. They need help. But I only saw the stuff that was being put out there, like Dana White did this. Yeah. And it's like, wait a second. You guys have been arguing for years of equality. And I've heard some hardcore talk. I'll call them toxic feminists. Like that's something I just thought of calling them. They said, I've watched them say, we would put a woman boxer in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. Like that was on Piers Morgan.
I remember that. Yeah,
it's like, no, like guys, come on, smarten up a little bit, right? That doesn't make, you could, and I'm pretty sure that would be the fastest knockout we've seen Mayweather pull off, but it's, it doesn't make sense like that. Like that's not how how equality works.
But the reason why they don't go about it that way is because that's not what sells.
No, I get it. It's the Trojan horse. But what I'm saying is, like, now that incident happened, right? And now you're gonna completely shit on Dana White when it's like the wife. We weren't there. We don't know what happened before the clip, but the wife was the one who threw her hands first. Isn't Dana White equally a victim? Like that's how I see that. Yeah. I don't know. Like, call me crazy. I don't know.
No, for sure. If they have that perspective of equality and whatnot, obviously, I don't ever like recommend anybody hit anybody. You know what I mean? But in that situation, yeah, like I get what you're saying. Where if it's equality, why is it so bad when he hits her, but it's not as bad as when she hits him?
Yeah, like
right?
the guy's a victim.
That's very hypocritical. He is a victim 100%. But at the same time, he is a guy, right? I'm sure he could probably take it better than. She could take it if he were to hit her back.
But also, here's like a problem that I have with this too. It's like, I just don't understand. People's sense of entitlement to an opinion is crazy to me. Because in this specific situation, his wife came out and said, hey guys, not a great incident. It's a marital thing. We're talking about it. We're good. Blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? It's
like move on.
Yeah, but the person that was directly involved was the one that's like, hey guys, this is not a reflection of our marriage. This is not a common thing. This was an anomaly. Not making excuses for it or saying that it's right, but this is the person directly, this is the lady that was smacked, and she's like, we're dealing with it in-house. It's a marriage thing. Leave us alone.
Which I respect.
Agree with.
Which I respect.
Exactly.
100%. Absolutely. And because, again, like you said, not for a moment am I justifying hitting women. But again, that was a back and forth thing.
Yeah. That's
right.
crazy.
It's like that. And then she came out and she said, listen, I understand. This is not good. But this is between us. It's an anomaly. Again, this isn't a regular occurrence. He's not at home practicing power slap on me. It's like this is, so... And then, but the outside's inability to let it go is so interesting to me.
And that's what I'm saying crazy. About the whole mayor situation. Like, again, I guess the only issue is because that happened in office is a little bit different.
Right.
Yeah. Like, would it be fair to fire that person and not fire the mayor? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. There's a little bit more stickier situation there. So what are you working on next? Can you give us some sort of exclusives here?
Unfortunately, I cannot. I'm at this.
Okay, I'll just tell everybody what you told me.
No, we got some things on the go right now, but nothing is official. So as of right now, no. I've been ripping Hogwarts Legacies. That's what I've been doing.
Dude, that game looks so freaking fire. I've been wanting to pick it up. I
am the best wizard in the world.
No way.
Grown men playing video games still.
Hey, are you a wizard?
No.
You sound pretty jealous to me.
He sounds very jealous.
Pretty jealous to me. You don't look like you could handle a wand. At all.
Bro, I'll take that as the greatest compliment you've ever given me. That I cannot handle the wand. Thank you.
I'd touch this guy.
Thank you, Jason.
But yeah, no, my acting career has become Hogwarts Legacies, bro. I'm just a wizard now. That's all I do.
Listen, bro, you got to just keep putting yourself out there.
I do. I go to Hogsmeade all the time.
I was just gonna say it's probably putting you into character, right?
Dude, I collect all the chests and stuff.
I don't know what this is. I know it's Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, dude.
Come on,
This guy.
so
Stop living under a rock,
so
man.
uncultured. This guy.
So uncultured.
Witchcraft has infiltrated our societies, people.
This guy said witchcraft.
That's what it is. I miss the good old days where my grade 5 teacher said, there's a controversy about allowing the Harry Potter books in our libraries, and they were banned.
No,
back then.
Were they? Wasn't there something? I don't know.
I like those days.
I don't know which country. It's probably this one that changed the title to like the first Harry Potter book, because I believe the original, like the OG title, was the Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh,
and then there was the Philosopher's Stone.
They changed it to the Philosopher's
Oh, wow.
Stone.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Harry Potter was one of those things where, because our family was like, "You're not watching it. It's witchcraft, sorcery." That it made me want to watch it. And then I watched it, and I'm like, "Wow, I feel like such a loser for watching this stuff."
How old were you when you watched it?
Oh, I don't know. I was in high school.
Well, you're a loser for not liking it. I'm sorry to say.
I was just gonna say I like the Harry Potter movies.
Harry Potter's dope, bro.
I'm just a goof for not finishing the series, man.
I love reading.
With no,
Or the
watching.
movies. Oh yeah,
I'm not a real fan. I didn't read the books. So I'm sorry.
You read the books?
No.
I was gonna say.
When I was younger, I put in a serious effort. I read like 2 chapters of the 4th book, I believe. But bro, that book was like this big, bro.
Yeah.
They're like this. Come on.
Dude, that book was like this big. I was like, what is this? No way.
No, but the movies were good.
The movies were sick.
Wow.
Also, the best part about the movies
Yeah, I
is
can
I
get
don't have
off
to
right
read
here,
the books.
Carson. I'm done.
I'm trying to rewatch those movies.
I'm done. I could. Show's over. You guys want to continue this, bromance?
Yeah, you know
About Harry Potter.
So Jason,
There you go.
tell me a little bit about.
Oh my gosh,
That's so funny.
this was great though.
This was great.
We're in over an hour.
Wait, hang on. You were talking about some freak out before we got on.
What
Which freak out?
Something on a set?
I wanted to ask you. I saw a video. I don't know if it was real, but I saw a video on Instagram. Matt Damon was like snapping on. I think he was the director of the movie. He was snapping on an actor, but I don't remember like what exactly he was saying. Oh, the guy couldn't remember his lines. That's how I remembered it.
Okay.
The guy couldn't remember his lines, and Matt Damon was snapping. He was like, "How don't you remember your lines? You call yourself a professional?" So I wanted to ask you. Thanks for bringing it up. Have you ever seen anything like that happen, or like heard of anything like that happen? Or?
Yeah.
No way.
So many times.
No, for real?
Yeah.
Like they snap?
Snapping, no.
Like-
I've never seen the snapping.
No?
I've seen people who show up unprepared, people who show up with just dripping in entitlement and all that stuff. But no, I've never seen a freak out on set.
Not a freak out?
No.
Okay. What about like anything where someone forgot the lines and they just kept forgetting the lines?
Oh yeah, I mean, but that is
Like just nonstop, like to a point where it's like, come on, dude. Like they just reread the script, like the lines.
Yeah. There is that's a lot more common than I would like to admit. Like there's a lot of unprofessionalism on sets.
Because you do cuts, right? Like for scenes.
You do
right?
takes.
Like, you do takes.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, 100%.
You do takes because like you're not going to be able to memorize the whole, obviously, script.
Yeah,
at
no.
once.
And you only shoot certain like specific scenes each day, so
okay.
you're not shooting the whole thing.
So you have a break and you can kind of go read the other
like
lines.
you know in advance. For example, I know in advance what I'll be shooting tomorrow, right?
Okay.
So I prioritize those pages.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But you see it all the time. People that just show up. And unfortunately, you see it at multiple levels of the game. Like it's not only leads or anything like that, but it's just people that show up and they're like, well, I don't know my lines. So what do you mean you don't know your lines?
It's probably annoying for like,
100%.
other people,
It's annoying for everyone.
because you're just like
It's
waiting
annoying
for them now.
It's annoying for everyone because if I'm in the scene with you, we can't do this scene because you don't know your lines.
So yours gets delayed.
You know, it's not even that mine gets delayed. It's just mine gets, you're always in control of your own performance. But like, if I give you a line and then you're supposed to respond, but you don't know your line. So now I got to sit here for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
while you think of your line.
It throws you off.
It just throws off the entire flow,
like the flow of it.
The entire
Yeah,
flow
that
of the
makes
scene. And you don't really notice if you're the viewer because the editors are great at what they do and they piece it together and it looks fine, which leads to another problem of mine, which is this weird, it's a weird like false narrative that that you have to perpetuate. Like you have to continue to build this false narrative on someone, right? So let's say I'm working with Matt and Matt is unprofessional. Matt doesn't know his lines. Matt's entitled. He gets the set. He has an attitude. Nobody likes working with Matt.
Yep.
We know that. But when I have to go on a promotional tour or something,
Oh shoot.
the audience doesn't know that.
Got it.
Right.
That's why I get paid the big bucks.
So now I got to sit there and be like, oh, what's it like working with Matt?
and it's,
Oh,
like,
Matt's
amazing.
great. I love working with Matt. He's such a funny guy. Oh, like, what am I hearing in my ears? Is that
I feel like we're in the hood.
dude? Is that a fire alarm?
No, it was a fire truck.
Oh, a fire truck. I'm like, I hear something in my ears.
It was loud.
I'm like, let's go.
It's pretty sharp. We're in a prime area in Vaughan, you guys.
But yeah, that's something that genuinely, like, recently has started to bother me because I just feel like
because you
there's
want to talk shit about certain people.
It's not that. It's not that you
You
want
can
to talk
certainly
shit.
do that right here.
Perfect. Okay. Well, it's not at all about talking shit. It's just I don't want to. It also depends on the genre you're in, I think, right? Like if you're in a genre that the target audience is young kids, I don't like whether this is you or not. The reality is it is a thing that people look up to certain actors or certain whatever, and they get inspired by people. And it doesn't sit right with me that kids are looking up or potentially looking up to this individual being like, I want to be like that person.
Yeah.
And that person's a piece of shit.
Yeah. And I got to
behind
sit there and be like, no, you don't want to be like that person.
That's tough, dude.
You know what I mean?
That's
And it's
so
like,
tough.
and it's like, it's finding that balance of being a professional and doing my obligations in promotion, for example, because the reality is it would be unprofessional of me to do an interview and be like, oh, Matt sucks. That's now the person that represents my show. I can't go out there and be like, oh, don't support this guy. Well, if you don't support this guy, he doesn't support the show. And now like,
Maybe when you're like retired, you can just write a book about how terrible it was to work with these people.
well, you have guys like actually Ben Affleck. Brad Pitt just came out and said something about this. Apparently, he has like a blacklist of actors that he won't work with.
So there you go.
Yeah, he has like a blacklist.
So it is like a thing, right?
Yeah, it's a thing at every level. And to be honest, the more famous you become, the worse you tend to be. Obviously, there's exceptions, but
You for sure call the shots, right? Like when you're someone at like their level, right? You're just pretty much telling everybody what to do.
I don't know. I'm not at Brad Pitt's level, but very close.
Very
But
close.
like,
Come on, you show
just
something.
shy. But I would imagine they hold
A lot
some
of
sort
pull,
of pull. Yeah, because you're the face of whatever that project is.
Makes sense.
And you're a big face, like, you're Brad Pitt. I keep wanting to say Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. See how you got it in my head. But yeah, that's something that I've noticed recently, that like it's a fine line that I'm learning how to balance.
Yeah,
because
you have people like Carson, no offense, who off air, when you mentioned the Matt Damon thing, and he's like, Matt Damon's such a good guy. Remember Good Will Hunting? Bro, that's a movie.
No, but that's a perfect example.
That's a perfect example. Yeah.
Because like obviously Carson joking, but like
No, he was dead serious,
No,
guys.
but I'm saying
Guys,
these young
I was dying of laughter. He was dead serious. He's like, Good Will Hunting. I'm like, what?
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
You
no,
serious?
but the thing is, like I said, with these younger kids, with the more impressionable audience, it's like that's exactly right? They see the person on the show and they're like, oh,
That's
that
it.
person. It's like, no, that's not the person though.
I swear I could be wrong right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but this kind of happened in like the Marvel universe. Don't like the actors, not like the actress that plays, what's her name? Miss Marvel. No? Isn't that a thing?
Is
Brie
that,
Larson.
Is that why
Yeah.
they were
Brie Larson, but I also don't know if that's true
I
at all.
swear I think that's
But
a thing.
tell me,
I'm
give me
not-
context. Was it because she's a bad
Off-
person?
No, I think Offset. I think she's really again, I don't know if this is real, so don't quote me on this, but I heard like she's really like I think touchy with other like actors and actresses and stuff. Something like that.
What do you mean touchy?
Something about like
physically
she's
touchy,
too
touchy?
like okay, like I don't know you like that. Like you're coming too close within my space kind of thing. That's what I heard.
Bro, I know people like that here in the office and stuff.
No, I know, but I imagine if
that
you're
doesn't bother me.
No, but
Sounds like you should report someone.
It sounds like you should definitely report someone. But no, it sounds like that would
okay, I'm the guy.
Dude, I imagine that could be like pretty annoying because you're trying to do this. You're on the set. You're trying to do your job, right, and be professional about it. But there's only so much you can kind of do or say, right, to somebody, and just kind of be like piss off or
100%. And it's also, you have to weigh. I don't know anything about the Brie Larson stuff.
Yeah.
But again, it's a fine line because it's like, can I say something to you? Sure. But I'm smart enough to know that with your personality, I'm going to say something to you and you're going to go sulk in the corner for 2 hours. Now we're delayed.
Have you ever had anything like that where you really want to say something to somebody and you're just kind of like,
where I've really wanted to? Absolutely.
You bit your tongue?
Absolutely.
You didn't go off on them?
No, of course not. But but that's what you have to consider, right? It's like, can you technically say something? Sure. It shouldn't be your job to say something.
Yeah.
I guess the directors should catch
the people
stuff.
in charge of the set
Yeah.
is who should be saying something. I think the actors should all just stand on the X and say their words. But yeah, because that is a reality, right? Like, I say something to you, I upset you. Now all of a sudden you take off.
You're upset,
and people got to go calm you down before they bring you back to act, and then it's a whole thing.
It's a conflict.
So a lot of the time, like, there's a lot of enabling in the industry.
That's interesting.
And the reason for that, like, I don't agree with any of them, and I'm not defending them, but it is you got to keep it moving, right? Like, and that's why a lot of the enabling happens. It's not because the higher ups aren't frustrated with it or whatever. It's just because we gotta keep this going. Yeah, like, right. This is expensive. We got to keep this moving. And if they walk off for 2 hours, like, we can't afford. Literally. Because
if something were to happen, let's say you said something, maybe rightfully so, and that happened, let's say that person had to walk off for whatever reason, then wouldn't the people on set, wouldn't they kind of get pissed at you too and be like, why didn't you kind of just maintain your...
I would imagine.
Yeah, right? I feel like they'd also feel some type of way.
Because even if you're in the right per se, this is work and you're still... It's not show friends, it's show business.
There's a better way to go about it.
100%. And also, I've kind of fallen into a place where I kind of just trust that, or I'm trying to trust that if you just do things the way you're supposed to do them, just trust the process. And you know what I mean? It's like,
that makes sense.
You know, like, I mean, who knows? Maybe somebody I've worked with will contradict this, but I don't think so. I'm pretty easy to work with, dude. Like I said, I just love being on set. So just give me my pages, let me walk on set, and I'll be fine. Yeah. I'll always be prepped. I'll always be in a positive mood.
That's sick.
Because I think at the end of the day too, I recognize the privilege of being able to do this for a living, right? Like, to be able to play make believe and get paid money.
That's awesome.
It's ridiculous.
It's like Harry Potter.
Hey, what I do is pretty cool, but it's not like Harry Potter. Okay.
What do you mean? You get to be a wizard.
You're a wizard, Harry. I wish, bro.
This guy wish, bro.
But yeah, so.
That's sick, man. Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
Because that thing too, I think it's also important. And I was talking to Kim about this. I was about to drop some very undroppable information.
Drop it.
No, I cannot.
Drop it. Come on, dude.
No, I know it.
I cannot.
Fine.
But I was talking to Kim about this, and I was like, man, I think it's so important for people to, in this industry, people in this space. I've noticed, and again, there's exceptions to every rule, but I've noticed that for the most part, anybody that I have seen conduct themselves in non-ideal ways is always, again, exceptions, but it's always people that have been lifetime in this industry.
Okay.
Right? Like child actors, you've been in the industry your whole life. This is real life to you. Right? It's like, and again, obviously there's people that have worked in the industry their whole lives and they're great. But for me, like before I ever even got into this, I had a very real, very unenjoyable job. Like I used to work nights in the cold. Kind of sound like a prostitute right now. Oh my God. I used to deliver bread through the nights in the freezing cold in Toronto. And it's like, dude, and that was my reality for many years. And now all of a sudden I'm being paid to pretend to be a vampire. Like, dude, there are worse things.
That's
like,
crazy.
Even if problems do arise, right? Like smaller issues, that's always my go-to in terms of
So sorry. Going back to being a prostitute. When you say you're moving dough, as in like
bread,
money, or like
bread.
No,
like
bread.
a
He
pimp?
said bread. You look what you did. This is people look up to you, man. This is one of those people.
I am so sorry.
Jason said he's a prostitute.
I'm so sorry that
He's talking about bread for his family. You can watch the
legit-
first episode on this channel.
Come on.
Wait, like legit, like bread.
Bread, lachma.
bread.
Bread language, lachma.
Oh my
How do
God,
you say
so
bread in
sorry.
Portuguese?
100%.
How
How do I say that?
How do you say bread in Portuguese?
No, how do I say it?
In my language, lachma.
Lachma?
Lachma.
Lachma.
Lachma, yeah.
Bread.
Nice.
Oh, it's like actual bread. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make that clear. You know?
In Portuguese, it's pão.
Pound?
I think I like yours more.
Lachma.
Lachma. That's nice. That's nice. But yeah, no, I used to sell. I used to sell bread, and but I just like I think it helps having some perspective in terms of. I'm playing make believe. Like I said, it's very different than. Don't get me. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying it's any of that, but it's not freezing outside.
No, for sure.
Building a building.
Dude, you're in
Or,
Spain.
you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's so sick.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Unfortunately, thanks for bringing that up.
No, you were in Spain.
Yeah, no, no worries.
Better places, dude. Coming soon.
Hey,
Coming soon, bro.
never know.
Straight
man.
up.
I
You
believe
never
it.
know.
Keep it up.
100%.
Boys, we're running into the 90-minute mark, so any questions from fans can be asked.
Off afterwards. Sounds good.
Well, we'll close up the show. Do you want to leave our audience with a last message and tell them where they can find you and connect with you?
You can find me on Instagram. It's the only social media I have at I am Jason Diaz.
Perfect.
That's really it. I got nothing that I'm allowed to announce just yet. Thanks for having me, guys. It's always fun.
Thanks for
I
coming,
like
man.
this. I like this free form style.
Yeah, you know,
man.
it's something
It's
you were
nice.
trying.
It's fun.
Something you were
I mean, you
trying.
didn't have the bricks up, but that's fine.
I'm gonna get that fixed next time. I'm gonna get it fixed next time. Guys, if you like this episode, please share it, subscribe, do your duties, and until next time, we're out.